The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, this is Tom Lane, DM2 Software's Vice President of Marketing. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's DM2 Petroleum Insights CRM webinar. Before I introduce today's presenters, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. Because of the number of attendees we have on today's webinar, everyone's phones will stay on mute. If you have any questions during the webinar, please enter them into the question window that you see in the lower right of your screen. We'll try to get to everybody's questions at the end of the webinar. If for some reason we're unable to get to yours, we'll follow up with you individually afterwards. Today's webinar is being recorded. As soon as the recording's available, we'll post it on our website as well as the DM2 YouTube channel. And I'll send a message around to let everybody know when the recording's available to be reviewed. We'll also put a copy of these presentation slides up on our website as well, so I'll have a link in that follow-up message for that. On that note, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. We've got Colin Chambers. He is our new Director of CRM Solutions. Colin was our senior CRM consultant for quite a while, but due to the growth that we've seen in the CRM portion of our business, we've actually created a whole division within DM2 around that. Joining him will be Anthony Rodriguez. Anthony's one of our sales reps, and he's going to be focused a lot on CRM in the next few months. And then joining us is our newest employee, Danny Wheeler. Danny is a senior CRM consultant, kind of backfilling where Colin left off in that role. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Colin and his group and let him take you through some of the new things that we've done with CRM.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom, and thank you all for attending today. So our presentation today is about DM2 Petroleum Insights CRM. And let's see here, hang on one second. So this is the CRM sister product to DM2 Petroleum Insights. So we're kind of break down our conversation into kind of three categories. There is the DM2 CRM ERP integration, which is a really important part of this. We also have standard features now. A lot of these features didn't exist for previous installations, so we're kind of offering them as a la carte features that you can purchase. But new implementations moving forward are all going to include these standard features of the Petroleum Insights CRM product. And then also advanced features which are optional, and they can be deployed a la carte. So again, the integration between CRM and ERP is a really important part of this. So I'm going to actually demonstrate this for you in just a second. The DM2 Data Access, we used to call that DM2 Data Tab. So it's a tab in the company screen in CRM that displays the product lines purchased, actual purchases revenue from the ERP system, year over year, month over month by product line. So it's a lot of actual revenue data, and that's pretty exciting stuff, because not only can we just display that by customer, it's also a lot of valuable data, actual purchase revenue data that you can use to drive marketing activities, for example. So if there's one product that's related to another, you might be able to set up an automated logic notification if a customer has purchased one of those associated products but not the other, things like that. So we can drive marketing campaigns based on actual purchases. Mobile order entry is also a very powerful feature. If you have what has been known in the past as DM2 pricing on the ERP side, so there's like 9 levels of pricing that have evolved over the years. All of this pricing is available in order entry on the CRM side, and everything runs in an iPad or a Surface or a desktop. So you can have even a really slow, Starbucks kind of a connection, and you've got the benefit, the power of the DM2 pricing in order entry in CRM. And that also works for quotes as well. You can actually create quotes that are loaded with DM2 pricing. You can email them out or print them out or generate a PDF and email it before it's even touched, before it's been promoted over to the ERP side. Okay, the other piece to the integration is Graytrix, which is a third-party company, and they've created a integration engine between CRM and ERP. We exclusively go with the Greatrix, basic integration now. Sage does have their own integration for Sage CRM and Sage 100 ERP, but we've opted to, discontinue support for that. It was just too problematic. But the Greatrix is very stable, mature, fast. The links open up really quickly. It's easy to customize it. We've worked with them to where Greatrix now calls the DM2 Rosetta API. So we've done a lot of work with them, and it's just a very solid, very sound, mature, fast, complete integration. And I've been supporting Sage CRM since about 2001, and this is by far, I've seen other integration programs with Sage CRM and with Sage 100 and actually other ERP systems as well. And this is by far the best integration that I've ever seen. So within that kind of umbrella there, you've also got invoice and order lookups. You can do sales summary by customer, and then you can do a lookup of which products that they've purchased. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and show that to you in just one moment. Before we do that, I just wanted to kind of summarize that these are the standard features that come with the product with each new install. Or again, if you already have Sage CRM and you don't have these features, we can deploy these to you a la carte. So we've optimized everything to be able to work in a smaller screen in the iPad Surface. We keep it narrow so you don't have to scroll back and forth, right to left, and just try to keep the screens as compact as possible. So they're really set up and designed for the smaller screen. So it looks natural, works perfect, in an iPad. We also have within that interface, we've developed, most of our clients are very similar. They're not all exactly the same, but probably 80% of the screens and the fields and the drop-downs, can be shared. So we can really automate the phase one implementation by keeping it kind of standardized. We do have the ability to go in and customize everything all you want, but we try to encourage you to start out, land and expand. Start out kind of basic. Maybe keep the implementation under about 4 to 6 weeks or so. Not get too custom. Just get people trained, familiar, up and using the system before you move on to phase 2 type stuff. So the drop-downs, the screens, the opportunity screen, the company screen, also the workflows. We have a couple of different templates for the sales process from mobile and from Chevron, or you can customize it. But we try to stick to some basic design if possible, for a simpler rollout. We got a few other features here. We have an opportunity list that rolls up by gallons and gross profit. We've got a user adoption dashboard. That is extremely important with CRM. That you have to monitor, keep an eye on the users, make sure that they're really adopting the system. You can make sure that they have activities in the system. So appointments and calls, they're logging their calls, they're logging their meetings. And if they're not, this dashboard enables us to see that the users are not using the system, they're not adopting the system. So what typically that means is that they need more training. They might be frustrated, or maybe they're just, don't really want to deal with it. We try to make them understand why this is good for them. It's pretty obvious why it's good for management to have visibility, to be able to track KPIs, but we really work hard to engage the salespeople. Sometimes your most senior and your most successful salespeople, they kind of have their own way of doing things. So we try to really get them engaged, set things up to where they work smoothly for them, to where it's not a burden, but it actually empowers them, makes them more successful, makes the company more profitable. So again, I'll show a couple of ways that we can track user adoption. The DM2 Sales Action Dashboard is another thing that kind of automates the process, prevents things from slipping between the cracks. Ship-to address management, if you do manage your business by address, by location, we've got some enhancements there. We have a basic customer onboarding workflow, which automates the process of when there's a handoff, from sales. When they've closed the business, there's a credit application, and then you need to have credit or customer service or somebody, come in and set up the customer. New customer welcome package communication workflow. Right when you hit the button that says, in the workflow that the customer's created, you can automate like a package of documents and instructions. A process can be automated. So a bundle of communications can go out, and then follow-up communications. You can even have, a series of communications if you need to. Okay, so these are the standard features, which I'm going to show you in just a second. The optional or advanced features, the mobile order entry that I discussed, that's actually an optional feature. Single sign-on and allows you to navigate to the customer AR, customer maintenance and mass, and then launch that same customer in CRM without having to go, toggle over to CRM, log in, do a lookup. You can actually launch it from mass. Makes it easier for people who are in mass most of the time. We also optionally have customer memos in mass. You can have them automatically synchronize over with the customer in CRM. They can come in as either notes or communications. DocuSign integration, you can automate the process of sending a document to someone, have them sign it, and then log it in CRM. Power Forms is where you can set up like a form where somebody goes onto a website and just completes a form, and then they just hit a button and send or submit that, and it gets automatically saved into CRM. And then the next step, which is actually still in development, is an online credit application with DocuSign. So you could go onto your website, create a credit app, and then it will be automatically inserted into CRM, where there will be a pipeline, like a credit app pipeline, similar to an opportunity pipeline. Notifies the proper people that the credit app needs to be processed. It gives visibility to the sales rep. They can see where the credit app is in the process. So that's a really powerful feature that we have coming. Right now, that whole process is handled outside of CRM, but we're looking at building, offering at least the option to automate that entire process. And then someday, after the next phase after that's completed, is that we are planning to be able to then transmit the credit application to the finance company. So these are things that are kind of down the pipe. Chevron Project Transform is an option. Equipment management workflow is an option. And then also one thing that is still future release is integration with CTI telephony, so your phone system. So the phone call comes in, you've got caller ID, the screen can pop up. You can match up a call with an existing record that you might already have in the system. And then it also tracks the call statistics, so people can get their activities into the CRM system without actually having to do anything. It's all automatic. And also feel free to go ahead and ask questions in the chat window, and we'll be taking your questions. So feel free to go ahead and fire away with questions. Okay, so I am going to go back to the ERP integration. Okay, so this is the primary place where you log in to the CRM system. So this is kind of like a desktop. So I'm not in any particular company right now or contact record. I'm not in my calendar. I'm just in this dashboard here. So this is the first thing that I would see when I log in. It is possible to set up multiple dashboards. So you might have a different dashboard for your CEO versus your sales manager versus sales rep, even like a customer service rep or customer service manager. But what we start out with typically is just a sales dashboard, very basic sales dashboard for the reps. So what they need to see is my opportunities. Me as a rep, these are the opportunities that I have assigned to me. Let's see if I can get something more interesting here. These are auto opportunities that were created when an order was placed. You also have like today's calendar, and here's a list of all of my opportunities open by status, just like a high-level view of them. Here's a record of my accounts, the companies that are assigned to me. Here's the contacts that are assigned to me. And then over here is just a website, user community, Sage CRM user community. So if you have questions or if you need help, an end user can just pop in there, go into a blog and start asking questions. We also have really good help. If the user is stuck, they can actually, come in here and go to a table of contents, or they could go to an index or a glossary, and it's very complete, very thorough. It's got screenshots, how to, say how to add a contact or create a contact. Well, I'm in the index actually, so what I should be doing is search. Sorry, so create a contact. So the end user has a lot of capabilities here to figure things out for themselves if they have questions. Okay, so getting back to the ERP CRM integration, I'm going to go into a company record, and up here, this little clock thing here is a recent. So this takes me into recent companies that I had open previously. So here's the company summary screen. Again, we've tried to keep this small. It's only 4 columns wide, so this would fit right into an iPad really well. The summary screen has just basic information, about the company. So you might want to know things like what the business line is or business classifications. Some of this stuff also is probably going to be tracked at the opportunity level as well. So it's up to you if you really want to track it in both places, but this is information about your customer. I can see that it's type customer, so I know it's a customer. The company code in the ERP side is right here. We actually do have the ability to integrate with multiple companies. You could have, 10 mass companies or Sage 100 ERP companies, and they would all actually integrate into CRM, into a single database in CRM. So you could have one big pipeline. You can have, the entire database will all be one seamless system. So if you have sales reps who are supporting multiple companies on the ERP side, they could manage all of their opportunities and all their business in one place in CRM. That's a pretty powerful feature that we really only got a couple years ago. Last contact date is really good to know. What's the next contact date? Contact frequency. You might want to kind of manage your business based on how often it's supposed to be tracked, and then keep an eye on, if the contacts are being made the way they're supposed to be. You can see here that we've got, the account manager. So there's a rep assigned at the customer level or the bill to level. We also have the ability to assign account managers at the ship to address level, and I'll show you that in just a second. Customer ranking, if you do have some reason why you want to track, high value customers, this is a mechanism. This is just a drop down that gives you the choice of doing that, but we also could automate this and build logic into it that says, not only has the company just got high sales, but maybe there's some way of knowing if they're profitable as well. Been with you for a long time, a loyal customer. You could build some kind of logic to it to automatically assign, a ranking. Okay, so now I'm going to cancel this, so then I go back to my summary screen, and then you notice that I've got these 3 buttons over here on the right. So DM2 customer, if I click on that and it's already a customer, then what I get is this kind of a snapshot. Okay, so if I hit the change button, these are fields that can be edited by CRM. Okay, but you notice that practically everything else is read-only. Okay, so it's a snapshot that says, like last payment date. It might tell me if they're on hold or not. Now I can't do that here, but it'll tell me if they're on credit hold. So that's a really good thing for a sales rep to know. High balance, average days to pay, last payment, all that kind of stuff. Now, if this customer was not a customer, if it was a prospect, so it would say type prospect here, that would be the same way that I would promote, set up the customer on the ERP side. So if it was a prospect, I would just hit the same button. I'd have the ability to set the customer number. I could manually type in the customer number, or I could just increment to the next one, and then it'll copy it over to the ERP side. Okay. Now, typically that's not done by sales. We have a workflow that allows the sales rep, when it's time for a credit application, the opportunity is closed, otherwise they can hit a button and then it'll automatically escalate it to credit, and then credit processes the credit application, and then they set up the customer if the credit application is approved. So that's not something that sales does. We have pretty granular ability to assign permissions. So if you don't want the salespeople to do that, you can easily just grant or deny, those kinds of permissions. Okay, so DM2 inquiries. This is another screen at the customer level. I have the ability to go up and look at the orders that have been placed for this customer. So if you look up at the top here, I'm still in the same customer, Jafco. I can look at open or complete orders. So here's all these orders here, and I can drill down all the way into the line item level. Okay, so now I'm down into a line item of an order. I want to go back up to the top. I hit this button here, Sales Order List, a couple times, and then back up to DM2 Inquiries. And then I've also got AR Inquiry, which is invoices. So it's the same type of thing. I can do a lookup on invoices, open, fully paid, or all. Let me get back out of here. I would hit DM2 Inquiries, Sales Summary. Okay, so here for this particular customer, I can go in by month by month or year by year, and I can see the sales breakdown. Okay, so to get back up again, here's back up to the top menu. I can go into Item Sales History, and here I can do product lookup. So if I hit the change button, I can take any individual product, and then, for any individual time period, I can even do it by ship to, and then hit that button there, and then I get a breakdown of the product sales. But our customers probably have found another feature to be more valuable than these two here. So if I go back out to summary here, and then we've got DM2 data. Okay, so this is DM2 data access. And this is business line, which I described earlier, for this customer, year over year, gallons and gross margin, month over month. So I've got a really detailed history here by product line for this customer. We have had clients that displayed this by product instead of product line, so that's kind of up to you which one makes more sense. If I drill down into this, I can get the detail. And again, the possibilities are really huge what you can do with this. Like one example is if you had like a profile where the typical customer would buy product A and product B, and then maybe you only have sold one of those products to one of your clients, you could generate like an opportunity list that would say, well, these guys here are really good candidates for product B because they've already bought product A but not B. So things like that. So the logic that we're looking at would be similar to, if you go on the Home Depot website and you're looking at barbecues, and then next thing you know, you've got accessories to barbecues that are being suggested for you. So, Amazon does that kind of thing all the time too. So we would have the revenue here, the sale debt table from the ERP side to be able to build that kind of logic. So that is a very powerful feature. I also mentioned that we have order entry. So you can then, from the company record here, I can click on this button up here, plus sign, and say new order. And I can create a new order or a new quote. If I create a quote, then I can convert the quote to an order, and then I can promote the order into the ERP system. And again, you've got really granular permissions on that. Salespeople typically do not promote orders to the ERP system, but what they might be able to do is create a quote, and then send the quote to people, fully loaded with DM2 pricing, but yet it still hasn't been promoted into the ERP system. So I'm going to go into the recent screen and just show you an example of an order that's already in here. Okay, this guy here, so here's a recent order. And this is the header. Okay, so when you're creating this, it really just takes a click or so to create it. It pulls ship-tos, warehouses, all that kind of stuff. in the header. And then from there, I can say, new line item, like right here. So there's quick line entry and just new line item entry. So new line item entry would be like this. It goes into the math side, and I can do lookups, on product items there. So for example, diesel. So I could pick one of these products here and bring it in. It'll be standard price initially. You can build the whole quote if you want, and then you go back and you hit a button that says calculate DM2 price. So that could be, any of the levels of DM2 pricing. Quantity discounts, maybe you have a contract price with a particular customer. You might have, bundles of products together. The other thing that might come in is, like in this case here, compliance fees, drum deposits, taxes might be different. All that kind of stuff is calculated in the back office. And this is really powerful because, the salesperson has the ability to make profitable quotes from the field. All this works like an iPad or a Surface. You could be on a very slow connection. Everything will still work. You do not need Mass Workstation installed. It's just completely browser-based, completely web-based. We have clients that are converting over to this right now, that their current process is that the sales rep has to get on the phone, call up an admin from the office has to go look up the price, and then they email it to them, and then they turn around and email something. Where in this case, if you want to give them the permissions to do this, the sales rep would have the ability to create, a priced quote, an accurate, profitable quote from the field. If you look at these buttons over here on the right-hand side, so like clone, I can clone an order. I can merge to Word, merge to PDF. I could print out the order, or I could send it. Okay, so if I send the order, it looks something like this. I can just email it to someone. Okay, so it gives you like a header, for the email, and then this is what the quote would look like. This is also a template as well. So we would put your logo in here. You can have any kind of language in here that you want, but it gives you the quote. Okay. Make sure I close the right one here.
Colin, just want to give you a heads up. You're right at the top of the hour here. It's about a half hour left to go.
Great. So I'll go about 20 minutes or so and then leave some time for questions. And also wanted to give Anthony a minute to introduce himself and just kind of his high-level perspective on how he uses CRM himself. Okay, so we have just pretty much covered the ERP integration. Hang on one second here. Let me just close that. Okay, let me go back to my outline here. So the next step would be a general discussion here. I've already talked pretty much about the iPad Surface optimization, how the fields and the screens fit good for a smaller screen. The next step would be like the lead opportunity in case workflows. So I'm going to go into the recent button. So we just talked about the company screen. So if you look up in this top corner here, you can always see where you are in the system. Okay, so now I'm going to go to a opportunity. Okay, so let's just go back into an opportunity that was already there. Okay, so this is like I'm trying to sell something to somebody. All right, this information that you track at the opportunity level, it is customizable. Again, we try to encourage you to just use the system relatively generic as it is for a while, and then get the users comfortable with it, get them up and running before you start to really customize too much. But it is possible, to go through, business lines, business segment, what are your brands? We probably would have to tweak that for you. Who are your competitors? Here's a field for that. Competitive brands. So, obviously we have to do some tweaking here, but we try to keep it without getting too fancy, too involved in the first rollout. Having said that, we kind of have sort of 3 different levels that most of our clients do. This is kind of the Goldilocks, level, sort of just right, sort of halfway in between. We have other clients, we have a few, that have many, many, many fields on this screen. They might have 50, 75 fields on here because they feel that there's just information that has to be captured at different stages in the process, and that's the way they run their business. We have other clients that have about 3 fields on here. They have it minimal, just right down to the bare bones. Another thing to think about too is that your different business units, your lubes versus fuels versus propane, for example, things are different for them. They have different fields, different information to capture, and their stages in the process, the sales process could be a little different for them. So we understand that, and we have the ability to get very granular, but we try to have like a one-size-fits-all shared screen for the first rollout and try and get people kind of combined at first. But if it's really important to you and if those business units are really completely different, we do have the ability to have the interface be different for different teams. So the workflow can be different and the interface can be different. You notice that you got these buttons over here for the sales process, like stages in the sales process. So it tells me I'm at the nurture state or stage right now. So from here, I go up to number 1 to the next step, or I could close the deal, or I could win the deal, or I could lose the deal. Okay, so if I hit this button and I'm moving to the next step, I get prompted for a few things. So in this case here, I get prompted for gallons, and then you can put in margin, and it calculates it for you, and I'm prompted for the close date. But and it advances it to the next stage. The certainty is set automatically by the system. You could reassign it at that point. Now, but some of our clients have a lot more information on here. Others keep it real simple. So this is kind of our generic design. And if you hit the next button, then you get the same screen. So you can customize it if you want, but this is how we kind of do it by default. Now, the way that this whole opportunity roll-up looks like for the whole company and for one user at a time, if you're in my CRM, I can go into opportunities. So my CRM, me as a user, here's my contacts, my activities, leads, opportunities. This would be my pipeline for me as a user. In this case, I'm system administrator. Okay, so here I've got the whole list that I have assigned to me. I can see what status, these are all in progress, and by default, it defaults to what's in progress, and that means that you're going to default to the ones that are still open. So you're not looking at ones that have already been lost or won. And then whatever I have in the list here rolls up to this box up here. This is a little bit customized for DM2. So we've got gallon information up here. It doesn't normally come with the system. I can filter on anything that I want, like I can filter on the stages. I can filter on the business segment. So you could actually, manage multiple pipelines all in one place in a way here and just manage your own business. If I click on, one of these segments, then it just it filters just on that particular group. So what I've done there is to filter on this stage. So I'm going to unselect that. The other thing is now if I wanted to see everything, won, lost, and everything all at the same time, then I could do that too. Okay, so now I'm seeing ones that are won and lost as well, but ordinarily I don't want them to be cluttering up my screen. Now I'm in my CRM right now. I can also see the same information, team CRM opportunities. So now I've got the entire company, and then it's broken down by teams. So to see the whole company, I would say all teams like that. And then to see everything, won, lost, everything, here's how I would do it. So there's the entire pipeline of opportunities in the whole system. You can filter on the right by anything. I could filter on, user here if I want, or by address. We actually also do have opportunities by address as well. Okay, so let me get back over here. So basically, that's kind of a discussion. Oh, and then one other thing too about the stages in the process. We do have, Chevron's recommended stages. Mobile has theirs, or you can do some variation of those. Okay, so I've already talked about this. Next step would be user adoption dashboard. So we've actually got a couple of those. If you go into My CRM and then DM2 Dashboard. So here I've got like a view. I have visibility of activities. So phone calls, meetings, emails, all that kind of stuff by year, by month, by status. And I can also like break this down by user as well. So let me just take one particular person, Susan May, filter that. It's thinking about it. Okay, so here I've got one user, and I have visibility into what this one user is doing. Okay, so I can just like really quickly see that this user stopped using the system right here. So you have visibility of that. Over here I get a breakdown of what all actions they've taken. Now we also have another tool that does almost the same thing, but it actually does a little bit more on top of that. This is a communication activity analysis. It originally started out same thing, like how many phone calls, how many meetings, how many letters, all that kind of stuff. And I get a real quick breakdown here by all my users. I can really see the trend, and I can take any individual user here and then break down as to exactly what the activities were. So this is pretty typical. You can really quickly see if users are not using the system. We have another tab here for detail. So it also breaks down the company that was touched and the date. And I'm moving through this kind of quickly because we've only got a few more minutes. We have another tab for opportunities created. So I can take a person here and say, what opportunities were created and for who. We have another tab for cases, if cases were created. And then customer touches, which gets into more detail about exactly, who received the contact. So you can filter by anything, by year, by user, any which way you need to do that. Okay, let me just get back over here. So I'm going to move kind of quickly. Ship to address is very important. DM2 data access, I already talked about that. So ship tos, if you go into a company record, so let's go back into JAFCO again, and you look at addresses. So these are going to be synced over from the ERP system. So any ship to address is going to come over. If it's the bill to, it's going to say Sage 100. Okay, we have clients that have up to 1,000 ship tos, and if you have your business broken down, managed, if you manage your business by address, this gives you the ability to assign a user, an account manager at the address level. So this is a special feature, did not come with the program. We also have the ability to do communications, opportunities, cases by address. Okay, and then while I'm in here, I can say, new task or appointment, opportunity or case just for the address. And then I can do a lookup of my addresses. I can look up addresses that are assigned to me. And then we also have, and it looks like somebody took it out. We have a My Ship To screen, and I'm not sure what happened to it here. So, well, I'll skip over that. We actually do have a My CRM, My Ship Tos. So you can manage your addresses that way. Okay. Standard features, the customer onboarding workflow. I think I pretty much explained that. I've already explained the customer welcome communication as well. The sales action dashboard is a great feature that if you go in here, so it was formerly known as the exception dashboard. You can set up these exceptions to keep things from slipping between the cracks. So for example, if you have opportunities that have been in the same current stage for 60 days, then that's a problem. That means that the opportunity has just been ignored, or maybe it wasn't updated in the system. You can look at this as on a user-by-user basis. And I got to hit the filter button. Okay, Okay, so for Susan May, she's got all of these exceptions that are popping up. Number of in-progress opportunities that were created over 180 days ago. That means they're kind of stale, maybe, or maybe they got ignored or dropped. Opportunities closing this month, but no activity in 7 days. And whenever any account ends up, any opportunity ends up on this list, the user receives an email notification, and then they can navigate here, click on it, and there's the list of offending opportunities in this state. And so here you can actually take action on this. Actually, it shouldn't be one. Something's wrong with the demo data there. But I can actually navigate right into the record and operate on it. Okay. The standard package includes just entry-level dashboards and reporting and notifications. MailChimp integration comes with the system. You get a basic subscription and a certain amount of free emails. This gives you the ability to set up groups, target lists, target marketing campaigns, and then send out email communications, track opt-outs, track bounce backs, click-throughs, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty basic, but it's a pretty powerful tool. If you're familiar with Constant Contact, it's very similar to that, but Constant Contact is not integrated with Sage CRM. So it's like an island of data. It wouldn't communicate back to CRM if you have an opt-out or a click-through. So that's what you would get with this. It's integrated, so all the information tracks back into your own CRM record. There are other alternatives as well. We have a partner that produces a program called CRM Systems Internet Communicator. It takes it another step. Not only do we have much more powerful analytics, you gather a lot more, you glean a lot more analytical information from the user who's clicking through, but we also have the ability to integrate with the website. So if the person clicks through your email and they go to your website, we can see all of their activity, what pages, what links they've clicked, how long they've been on. You can track their behavior over time and start to build like a profile about them. And you can even have notifications that say, hey, they're on your website right now. So there's a lot of marketing capabilities that are more advanced than that. Okay. I've already talked about all this stuff here. Okay. And I've pretty much talked about all this stuff here too. The one thing that I didn't cover too much was the online credit application, which is a future program. When we get that working, and it's in progress right now, and we're pretty excited about this. So the person goes on the website, enters a credit application, it inserts the credit application into the CRM system. So it captures company, credit app, person, and address information in the CRM system, and then creates like a pipeline, just like opportunities, but it'll be a credit application pipeline. And then future release after that will be that we can submit that information to the finance companies. This is going to be a custom entity right in CRM. It'll look a lot like a company. So you're in a credit app. There's a summary screen there. There's a stage in the process that it's in. Who is it assigned to? Is it a business or a consumer type? You need to know the people who are involved. So there's a default person who's applying, but there's also references, bank references and other things. You've got addresses, business information if it applies, other required information. And again, I don't have a picture of the pipeline, but there will be a pipeline just like an opportunity. Okay. So I'm at about 45 minutes here, and just wanted to kind of summarize a couple things. Why is CRM good for sales? Again, we try to make this attractive and engaging for the sales user, and why is it good for them? Well, it's a systematic process. It makes it a lot easier to keep track of things, not let things slip between the cracks. When you're handling a lot of leads and a lot of communications and a lot of meetings and phone calls, there has to be some sort of system for tracking everything. Standardization, so your KPIs, if an opportunity is at a certain stage in the process, that type of thing, you want to have a standardized certainty that it's going to close. You want to reduce administrative work, reduce the sales cycle, close more business, the ability to identify high-value customers and improve the experience, retain those customers, improve your customer satisfaction and customer retention. We've actually had one client that told us that they had lost over $1 million in business in 5 years, they felt, because of ignoring their customers. So tracking their issues and their problems with cases is an excellent way to make sure that not only you know who your high-value customers are, but that you do not lose them. Okay, and then so similarly, let me just skip over to the cases side of it. Hang on one second here. Okay, so just a couple of statistics on this. There was a survey done by CRM magazine, and if you take top performing SMB companies, the most successful, and you ask them what's the most important to them, most of the time they're going to say, of course, growth, but customer service has really surfaced as a very high priority. Customer relationships are extremely important. It costs you a lot more to win new business than just to retain your existing business. So that's why customer service is so important. Okay, so we're at about 50 minutes now. So I'd like to leave some time for questions, and I also wanted to give Anthony the opportunity just to give us a high-level opinion as to what CRM kind of means to him and how important it is and how it works for him. Anthony, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, just to kind of summarize kind of what you've covered today, the way CRM really is used, it can vary individually, company by company, but understand that everything you've seen today can really be broken down into 3 different phases or 3 different stages for everybody in the company. You can have visibility for your salespeople, which allows your salespeople to make more money and not let things fall through the crack, keep them on task, allows them to not have to worry about keeping things on a big chief tablet or a notepad to remember who to call back or keep a Rolodex. It's all centralized in one location, which makes them more efficient, which really should put more money in their pockets by making more sales. But then you can also have the visibility from a management perspective on what your sales team is doing without having to constantly be out each day monitoring them or micromanaging them, when visibility is available to them at a different level. And then from a high executive level, you can look at things, graphical views of what the team is doing. So from a business standpoint, the case for CRM is very compelling because sales is what makes the company go, and you need sales. And this is probably one of the best ways to grab a hold of all the operations, what's happening, who's talking to who, are they doing what they're supposed to do, all the way up and down the ladder in the company. And at the same time, it only helps them. From a salesman perspective, I use CRM religiously, daily, and it does nothing but help me be more efficient, stay on task, not forget things, and all those things that a salesperson needs to do to really make them successful doing what they do, which is making sales. So just understand everything you've seen today. It's a lot of information I know that we covered, but most of this can be, you can pick and choose what kind of visibility you want, how you want things to look, if you want certain information there or not, if you want to have the different stages change, if your stages of the sales process are different. All of this is configurable to make it easy for you guys to understand and kind of fit the way you do business, not necessarily the other way around. And that's kind of pretty much my high-level view of what we've covered today and why I think it's good.
Great, Anthony. This is Tom. I just wanted to you kind of stole what I was going to say next when you said configurable. I think that's the key word. I know everyone heard Colin mention a couple of times, customizable. The beauty of CRM is there's really not a lot of custom. When I think of custom, and I think most of our customers think of custom, they think of our programmers doing something specific just for them, and it only resides on their system. The beauty of CRM is it's a highly configurable system, and when Colin says customizable, he's really talking about configuration. So he can change workflow, he can change setups without having to go to a programmer. So that's a big distinction. I'm glad you mentioned that, Anthony, with configuration. Now, before we open it up to questions, Colin, if you could just pop open that web page for our DM2 University schedule.
There you go.
I just wanted to take an opportunity before we open it up for Q&A. I know we're getting close to the finish here, but we did publish, right after the first of the year, we published the next quarter's worth of DM2 University classes, and you can see we've got quite a number of classes up there, mainly dealing with how to use Sage Intelligence and some of the other kind of stock features that come within Sage 100. So you can see, you know, we've got quite a laundry list of different classes for you to choose from. So I encourage you to take a look at that page and register for the classes that might fit what you're looking for and trying to get more out of your system there. So that's really all I had on the shameless promotion there. So now I'll open it up for the Q&A. And we do have one question in from Kim over at PetroStar. And Kim is asking, could this be used by credit for collections?
Oh yeah, great question. We just had that request and we're just in the process of scoping that out. I've seen applications for Sage CRM before, a credit collection manager. So that would be it would be a case workflow. So case workflows are like any process after the customer is already a customer, and you could be issue management, or it could be collections, or it could be a variety of things. So yes, we can set up a workflow. It can be integrated with ERP. You can trigger off, assignments from one person to another, gather information. You can have a pipeline, the whole thing. So yes, we're actually working on that right now.
And again, Colin, that's just configuration. That's not any kind of actual programming. That's just you setting up workflows for that.
Yeah, actually, it would just be configuring the program. This program is extremely extensible. It's extremely configurable without coding, as you said. So yeah, I would be configuring the program, and we'll probably turn that into it'll be one of our features soon.
Okay, so Kim, thank you for that answer. Let's see if anybody else has any questions. It doesn't look like we've got any questions at the moment. So I know it's a lot of material to take in. Colin did a really good job of, consolidating a lot of material into a pretty short amount of time. As I mentioned when I introduced Anthony in the beginning, he is in our sales department. He's going to be kind of point man on CRM opportunities for the near future. If anyone has any questions regarding the material that we covered today, please feel free to email us at sales@dm2.com, and we'll make sure that we follow up with you accordingly. The other thing you'll notice when we sent out the invite for this in the weekly emails, that we also have the opportunity for you to take a test drive. And Colin, maybe you could explain that.
Well, basically, it's just access to this system right here. We can give you a login, set you up with a user. We typically, allow a month for that. And if you do want to do that, you should probably let us give you a demo, an orientation to it, just pre-training, to make sure there's no frustrations or anything. So yes, we do give access to this same system.
Sure. So what I'll do when I send out the link to let you know that the recording's available on our YouTube site and that we publish these slides on our web page, I'll also include a link so you could take a look at getting set up to take that free trial. All right, it doesn't look like we've got any more questions, so it looks like we'll finish up a few minutes early here. I just wanted to thank Colin and thank everybody for attending. Appreciate it, and like I said, if you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to contact us at sales@dm2.com, and that concludes today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much.